All right. So, Catherine, thanks for joining me on the Q.A.C. team podcast this afternoon. Tell our audience who you are and what you do.
I am Katherine Knight, yes, with Parents Dementia Journey, and I work with caregivers who take care of loved ones with dementia.
Nice. Nice. So, why did you decide to be a business owner? Let's talk about that.
Yes, I do. I love having this business. I'm passionate about it. So with our business, what we do is we have a program that works with those caregivers, or as we call them, care heroes, with those care heroes that are overwhelmed and frustrated, and they feel like they're pulling their hair out, and take them to where they're calm and confident. And the reason for that is there's such a high stress level when you take care of a loved one with dementia. And then we work with you with steps and tools and techniques that take you over to the other side. And that other
Yeah.
side we're saying is calm and confident. And we've successfully done that with hundreds of care heroes because you're not meant to be stressed all the time. It's no
Yeah.
fun. You don't sleep. You're grumpy with everyone. We don't want that for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I have some friends of mine who have experienced losing some loved ones to dementia, and it's not fun. They talk about the process that they go through, with trying to handle, their life plus handling their loved one's life, and it's a challenge. Why did you choose this industry? Let's talk a little bit about, the process of when you started, you
Yeah.
know, with the dementia and how this process worked into your business.
Yeah. What happened was about, 7 years ago, my mom called me and she said, "Honey, I need help with my finances." I said, "What do you mean your finances? You are like a master at finances." Okay, let me come down. I get down there 13 minutes later and she says, "What are you doing here?" Wait a minute. You asked me to come here, didn't you? Or am I crazy? I don't know. And I started seeing
Wow.
little signs. So I went
Yeah.
to sign up as her advocate for her health care, and she forgot we had the meeting. So I got her there. We got it taken care of. We take her to lunch. She forgot her friend. She was supposed to go to lunch with a friend. So it's step by step. We were starting to see steps. And then all of a sudden, I was at a meeting. I used to be a I worked with international students and I helped them fit into the United States and go to school in America. And I was at a meeting and I was coming home and I got a call and I was in a lot of traffic merging three highways into one, and it's just you're not moving anywhere, you're not going anywhere. So my phone rings and it's my nephew and he said, "Aunt Catherine, grandma's talking funny." And I said, "Well, let me talk to her."
Mhm.
He gives the phone to her, she gives it. I couldn't understand her. I said, "Give the phone back to Josh. Josh, call 911 now. Hang up the phone, call 911 now." He did. And I'm sitting there in the car going 1 inch at a time, 1 inch at a time. It's a beautiful sunny day, but I can't go anywhere. And I'm frantic. A drive that normally takes about 15 minutes took me an hour and a half.
Oh,
I
wow.
get to the hospital and I walk in, and my mom looks at me and she doesn't have any idea who I am.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't know my daughter, my son, me. My husband walks in, she knew him. And I thought, well, wait a minute. She gave birth to me. How could she not know me? But she knows my husband. Okay, that's not fair.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's how it all started out. And then the doctor said she could no longer live on her own. She had to have somebody live with her, go
Yeah.
into assisted living, or have live with someone who loves her. So we took her in. And then seeing that at that point, you think you're getting somebody a little bit older. It's okay. We can deal with this. No
Yeah.
problem. She was the matriarch of the family.
Yeah.
And oh no, it wasn't that way. It wasn't that way. Quickly did we find that it was a total different life that we expected when we had mom there.
Hmm.
And those changes, and I started looking at every book I could read, looking at any videos I could watch. And then I started interviewing caregivers who take care of loved ones with dementia. I interviewed over 200 of them, and I had all these notes of what to do and what not to do. And then COVID struck.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, what am I going to do now? So I wrote a book, Parents Dementia Journey, the Caregiver's Guide from Chaos to Calm. I wrote that book to try because I thought part of my job was to help other people figure out their problems and solve them. So I thought I'm solving my problems. So I started doing that. I did the book. It sold very, very well. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. Sometimes I don't have time to read. What if I could do videos and I could help them that way, or Zoom calls? And that's how Parents Dementia Journey came about, is in because we found that it's a global issue. It's all over the world and it's
Yes.
growing exponentially. And
Yeah.
we've got to get the support for the care heroes. That's who needs it, because if they're calm, their loved ones can be calm.
Right.
And that's really the basis of it, is getting the care hero calm so their loved one is calm.
Right. So you pretty much train people to be care heroes.
Well, it's the families. The families, usually in a family, even like a friend of mine who was one of 8 children, she was the youngest daughter. Pretty often it's the youngest daughter who takes on the responsibility. Not
Oh
always.
wow. Yeah.
I had my third client was a gentleman. It was him and his brother and his father taking care of the mother. And even though it's a family of 2 sons and a father, they still feel alone. And that's what we were able to give him, is yes, the tools and techniques, but also the chance to no longer feel alone.
Yeah.
That made a huge difference in his life. And he said it helped with his mom. His mom was happy that he was happier.
Right. That's amazing. So what were some of the challenges that you faced, from the time that you realized that your mom was dealing with this to you got this business model you're working on, and now what are the challenges that led up to you creating this business and getting it going to where it's at today?
Well, the challenge is learning how to do videos, learning how to get out to people. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I'm an accountant. I have an accounting background.
Oh wow.
I do numbers, and then they're saying, "Oh, you have to go and you have to do videos." Are you kidding me? No way. And I've slowly over the years gotten more comfortable with it. But in the beginning, I was terrified.
I can imagine. So let's talk a little bit about the process, right? So
Mhm.
I'm gonna get into how to contact you and reach out to you, but tell us a little bit about the process. So I have someone I know has dementia. What does that process look like when I reach out to you?
Well, the process, what I did was first I started doing videos, and then put a course together, and then I started working to put the program together that I have. And now what I did was I was working with Angel Trucy and Jamie Atkinson. They're wonderful. And that what they did was they said, Catherine, you got to start working on podcasts. You got to do your own podcast, and you got to get on other podcasts, and you got to get your business out there. And that has been a process for me to learn. Absolutely. And in theory, 1 in 5 responds back, which is really actually pretty good. I'm actually getting about 2 out of 5 responding back, because I feel that it's such an important issue out there. Because
Yeah.
if anybody's been touched by dementia, they really do need to get support. And it's, I mean, when I talk to anybody, even at a grocery store, that's something big that I learned too, is talking the grocery store to everybody. Okay, there you go. But, you know, building the business is constantly being immersed into it. Building
Yeah.
in the business, you got to be immersed into it to get everybody to know, whether it's you're sending an email out. Now I'm doing podcasts. I do videos. I do ads on Facebook. I do a lot. I do a
Yeah.
lot because it gets it out there. And part of that is learning to get your customers to trust you. That's important.
Yeah.
That's an important piece,
Yeah.
because that piece can connect you to others. And so we get a lot of referrals in our business. Those referrals from other care heroes that are talking to their neighbor or their friend, we get a lot of referrals that way.
Yeah.
And that's because we've had proven success in what we do.
Right. So how do we reach out to you? How do we contact you and find you so we can use your service? What's the best way
Well,
to reach out to you?
we set up an email to make it easier, and we check it 3 times a day. It's called info@ parentsdementiajourney.com.
Nice.
And that info at parentsdementiajourney.com, or our website. We have a website, parentsdementiajourney.com. You can also contact us through there also.
Great. Great. So what are the expectations for your business in the next year or two? What are you looking to accomplish?
Well, we've gotten global, which that was my first push this last year, was to become global. We are
And that's a
global now.
huge that's a huge accomplishment, right? Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So we've gotten global, and we have clients from Bulgaria, Australia. Ireland. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing for us. But building it out there, getting it known, getting out there as we are becoming known as an expert in the industry and
Yeah,
getting it out there. It's really publishing it out there to get more classes going. We run about a class every quarter. I'd like to get more classes going. So we're doing a class a month so we can support all the care heroes out there.
great. So if we wanted to join a class, we just reach out, check your website, reach out to you via email, and we can register to join in.
Yeah, they absolutely can. And we would walk them through it because in our program, we have a self-paced uh, class that they can take with modules in it. We have weekly Zoom calls and we have monthly one-on-one calls. And we do that because we don't want to get too big because we want to make sure that we can hold their hand through the process. That's
Yeah.
so important because if we can hold your hand, it's going to make it a lot easier.
Yeah, that was my next question was going to be you mentioned it about the one-on-one. I think wouldn't a lot of people like one-on-one a little more than the group sessions and so you can kind of guide them and lead them and help them right through the process.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, in dementia, we say they all have the same problem, they all have individual problems. So
Yeah.
it's both ways. And so we've got to handle that with the one-on-ones. Absolutely. We want to make sure, my first call with somebody is tell me your biggest challenge. 9 out of 10, it's hygiene. It's hygiene. It's just so much because our loved ones with dementia don't think they need a shower, or I had one yesterday and they didn't really have one, and they're starting to smell. Getting them, we have a lot of tools and techniques, such as, a spa day for women, do their
Yeah.
nails, and then they're going to want to get a shower, get clean clothes on, and they're going to do things like that. That's an easy fix. That's a
Yeah.
very easy fix. But that's what we have is, with men. Oh, yeah, we had one, Kara called me crying her heart out and said, Dad won't take a shower and I don't know what to do, but he wants to go on a date. He wants to go to a
Yeah.
bar and go on a
Oh,
date. He was 93 years old. And I said,
yeah.
Kara, say yes. She said, what do you mean say yes? And I said, say yes, see what happens. So she said, Dad, okay, I'm going to take you to the bar tomorrow. You're going to get up, take a shower, put clean clothes on, cut your hair, clean out your nails. And guess what happened? He said, oh, I'm tired. I want to go to bed.
You want to
So
go.
she never got to take him to that bar, but it was enough to get him to where he would get clean. And so from now on, her dad is clean.
Yeah.
That's
So
hygiene.
that's a great story and a great, way to introduce your service and how things can go by just saying, look, hey, a simple yes, let's do this. And then it turns into like, hey, I'm tired. I just want to relax and enjoy what I'm doing here. It's amazing.
And there is humor in dementia. There is humor in dementia. And you got to keep that in mind in the back of your mind. My husband says we live in a zoo. Yeah, we
Yeah.
do with a mother and mother-in-law with dementia. You never know what they're going to say tomorrow, but
Right.
roll.
Yeah. 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 I can imagine because it's a lot that goes into, they don't know sometimes where they are, who you are, what they're doing. And then
Mhm.
those subtle reminders, right? Of, hey, we are here for you. We are your loved ones.
Yeah, well, you do, and many of them you can see them progressing from remembering something by day, then remembering a couple hours. And my mother is probably 45 seconds. My mother-in-law is probably 15 minutes. So, and it changes the different levels. We do a whole workshop on the levels of dementia. So people
Gotcha.
understand what level they're getting into and they can go backwards and forwards and back and forth. They're not going to stay at that level and progressively go down. A lot of times they may get to a level 6 out of 7, but then revert to 4 the next day or in 15 minutes and go back and forth. So it's understanding the different levels on how to take care of them because a loved one with level 4 may forget that their brother died, as an example. You don't want
Mhm.
to tell them that they passed away. You want to say they're out of town or they're doing something because if you tell them they passed away, they're going to go through a depression again. And they can go
Uh,
through multiple depressions, and you don't want that for them. You want to
gotcha.
be able to keep them safe and fine. So that's what, it's not that you're lying, you're just trying to, like with my mother, when she asked for her brother, I'd say he's out of town. Well, he's in heaven. Okay.
Yeah.
He's out of town. He's not here. So that's the truth.
Yeah.
And so those are the kind of things that we coach you through is how to deal with those different nuances of taking care of that loved one with dementia.
Right. Do you get some pushback from people who might not like the idea that I don't want to tell my loved one that they're out of town when I know they passed away? How do you handle that?
Well, the pushback, we've had one person say, well, I'm not going to tell them the truth. I said, but how much do you know, the problem is you may hurt them. You may hurt them and get them depressed. Now, they
Yeah.
may not remember in 15 minutes, but you're going to go over that over and over again. And you're welcome to do that. Absolutely. We're not telling you have to do that. We're suggesting it because we want to keep them happy and you happy.
Yeah.
Because stress level anks up from each other, and we want to keep that calm. So, have
Gotcha.
we gotten pushback? We offer it as a suggestion, not a hardcore process you have to do, but that it's a suggestion to make your life easier.
And both lives easier, right? One for the person who's going through the loved one through dementia, and the one that you're trying to help deal with it. You want to try to find that common ground, right? Where you're looking at how do I help myself and help my loved one deal with this issue that we have, right?
Well, it is, and you have to go through those issues. And one of the things we really one thing we push very hard is self-care. And that
Yeah.
self-care we explain to them is what happens if you get sick and you can't take care of them, who's going to take care of them? Will it be another family member who's going to be resentful? Will they go to assisted living? I don't know, but we
Yeah.
want to make sure that caregiver, care hero is taken care of because they're the frontline person taking care of the loved one with dementia. Because usually, if you have somebody come in and say, "Okay, I'll take over for mom for 3 days," they're not going to get the full understanding of what taking care of a loved one with dementia is because they can
Yeah.
perk up. They can perk up in a different environment. But if they're there 2 weeks, they're going to really understand what's going on with that loved one with dementia.
Right. So is there a I guess a quick start how to guide to, hey, I need someone to come in and take care of my loved one for a day while I do something. Is there like something you do that's like a quick start how to care for a loved one with dementia?
We do, and that we do have a video on, tag I'm it.
Oh,
Tag
that's
I'm it
great.
is starting to take over. And how do you move them into your house if you're going to move them into your house? One tip on that is make it look like their room. Put the same pictures. Get the pictures out of their old room and put them in their new room. Use the same comforter. Use the same bed, furniture if you can, because that's going to make them feel more secure in that room.
Yeah. That
Otherwise, you're going to be
consistency,
spending a lot
right?
of time trying to get them go. They want to go home. And you don't want that because it's more stressful. Absolutely, it's more stressful.
Yeah.
That's how you make the loved one with dementia feel more comfortable in your home.
Right. Consistency, right? If you stay consistent with what they see and feel, you have a better chance at keeping them calm, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's great.
Distractions are a wonderful piece. We also, when we interview our new care heroes, we talk about what is it their loved one with dementia, what did they do before they got dementia? Because there's
Yeah.
a lot of things we can do to help them do some of those things that they have. They have mental awareness about it, not clearly, but they know. Like we had a gentleman who was an engineer. We got him this one thing off of Amazon that he could screw it, he could put a key in it, he could turn it, he could twist it, and he was so happy and he could spend hours on that.
Right. Kept them occupied, right?
Yes, and it was wonderful
Yeah.
and he was
That's
smiling
great.
and happy, and
That's
that's what we
great.
want for them. Now, for my mother, you give her a balloon, you throw the balloon at her, she pops it back at your head and she's laughing. She's
That's
happy.
great.
For a
Yeah.
balloon. Yeah.
That's great. Catherine, thanks again. This has been a wonderful interview. I appreciate your time. Leave us with one thought with our audience today. One thought of what you want to leave her with.
Well, what I would say is life is worth the fight.
Yeah.
Life is worth the fight. We need to do that in life. We need to take care of our loved ones. We need to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. That's great. Appreciate that. Yeah. Well, Catherine, thanks again for coming on, spending time with me. It's been a pleasure. Love to hear the story. And thanks again for coming on the QACT podcast. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you so much, Charles. I really enjoyed it. Thank you. And
You're
you have a
welcome.
wonderful evening yourself.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.